Welcome back to Heal, Healing, Empowering, Accepting, and Living, a podcast sponsored by Change by Fire. Wonderful to be with you today as we continue to explore and expand upon supports in burn healing and the helpers that can be found along the way. My name is Lori Janik, and I am a 15-year burn advocate, social worker, and current holistic trauma therapist.
And I'm Jen Severance, burn survivor, among many other things.
Catch-a-ball trades.
Catch-a-ball trades. Welcome back. So we just finished up episode 3 of season 8, Helpers in the Hospital, the therapy team. So we were exploring the role of the therapy team in the hospital setting, in rehabilitation, the needs for stretching and strength, building and further mobility support through physical therapy. We had a question and answer with physical therapist Gabby Vieira and exploring how physical therapy and occupational therapy work together for ultimate function and mobility needs. So you might remember our takeaway. We did standing strong after our interview. How might you have used it for your own regulation and grounding supports and healing? We, as usual, would love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
So today we are going to have a more open chat about what we have learned about hospital helpers thus far and explore further interactions with the therapy team and how to really utilize that healing support as well. So are you ready to join us? Let's get healing.
We brought our friend, fellow burn survivor, amputee, and our podcast show producer, Dave, back into discussion with us today as we really dive into our learnings about the therapy team and the supports offered in the hospital and how they've helped. Thank you so much for coming back on show with us, Dave.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And we're just going to have kind of a little conversation, a little chat about what we've learned thus far about both of y'all, since you have the burn survivor perspective, your interactions with the therapy team. And let's get started. So I don't know how much you both remember of your initial hospital stay, but what were your basic impressions of the therapy team when you entered the hospital? What did you understand about what they did?
Well, I think, I've been pondering this, and I think there's a certain amount of almost like there was a more joyful feeling when the therapy team came in than when maybe the doctors and nurses came in.
I agree.
Yeah, because I think when the doctors and nurses came in, it was like, oh my God, what's next? Or, oh my God, what are you going to tell me I need to do? And somehow the therapy team just brought in this light. They were always very cheerful. I don't know if you had the same experience where, I don't know, they really lightened up the place. And apropos of nothing regarding the physical stuff that we did with them, I just felt like their presence in the hospital was a very positive one that kind of balanced out the business side of our stay and getting us better.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I think some of it's kind of the fact that they're going to make us work our butts off, so they got to be nice up front.
They got to sweet talk us.
All right, now that you like us, now you have to do this.
Yeah.
But that's like really cool to notice in terms of, okay, even the tone of how they entered the room felt different to both of you. It's like, I know what they're going to do. And yet still,
it's like tough love.
I could kind of work with this.
Yeah.
Whereas when other hospital staff would enter, there's this definite pins and needles of danger. What's going to happen next?
Sort of. Yeah. A little more, let's get to business when, the doctors, because the doctors and nurses, you're always, it's time for a medication, or we're going to do a dressing change in a half hour, or, rounds and checking in on you. where I feel like the therapists, it's almost like it's activity time.
Well, also, I don't know if you look at it this way, but maybe it's more with the therapy team, you're moving forward.
Ah, yes.
Because they're trying to progress you to get back home. And that's where we all wanted to be anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe that's just kind of my 2 cents on it.
You had more of an idea kind of on the role, like to get your function, to get your mobility back, to get you out of there.
Because that's like a forward plan. And then with the nurses and doctors, it's like, this is what we're doing while you're here right now.
That makes sense.
That's true, yeah.
That's just my take. But
what about your relationship with the therapy team in the hospital? Like, did it change at all during your hospital stay or after rehab or coming back outpatient wise? Like, what was your relationship with them like? Was it like tense or difficult? Or was it, okay in hospital, and then like it was a lot better, a lot worse after? What did you notice about that? Because our relationships with people also can really further or kind of pull us backwards in our healing supports.
Mine was always positive. Like I got along with everybody, and then like Derek, I still communicate with online and everything to this day. So we're 9 years was this week. So
wow.
Yeah.
So your relationship really carried forward even beyond the therapeutic role to it's like, I consider these people still like an instrumental, important part of my life.
For sure, yeah. Because that was, originally what I wanted to do when I came out is I wanted to the first thing I tried to do was go and learn how to build the prosthetic stuff for the leg stuff. But requirements changed where they changed it from like a art to a science or whatever. So I'd have to get like a doctorate and all that to even do it. So my second option was to go into the physical therapy. And that's why I went and started working for the rehab center, was to progress towards that because it would give me like a leg up to get into the program. So and that kind of all went sideways, but I always had like a closer bond with like the physical therapy and occupational therapy teams. Both places I was at between the rehab center and the burn center. So
you really kind of connected and value those roles to the point where even you were able to kind of step into them.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do for sure. Yeah. So, and I did end up helping and moving patients and doing all that. I was a nurse tech over there, but for a couple of years at the rehab center. So I was definitely tough, but yeah.
That's cool. You got yourself a little more immersed into the world. Yeah. For me, I was, I was so surrounded by family, and I probably needed a little less therapy than you. And I had some really fast healing as well, that it felt like just in a blink, the team wasn't needed anymore, Oh,
gotcha.
So most of my memories stay within the hospital. Like I didn't have to progress outside of the hospital. I mean, I went to private physical therapy, and that's a horse of a different color.
The outpatient.
Why do you think that might be?
Well, I think because, and I know we've talked about this on previous episodes, but when you go out into the community, even a whole lot of physical therapists have never worked with a burn survivor.
The lack of knowledge.
And where, so you feel a little more like a unicorn, like you're this anomaly that they're going, oh, wow, a burn survivor. What do I do here? So I felt more of explaining to them how everything was working and they were learning as they were going as far as, how to get me back on my feet, as it were. Yeah.
Different relationship, different take too, and kind of where it's like your different levels of like confidence and support in the process.
I loved going to my outpatient physical therapy though. I mean, it's like Dave said, it's this, you're moving forward and you're able to communicate with them. What do I want? Because they can go as far as what they think you're going to need. But then there were things like, I'd really like to be able to get down on the ground to pick something up. I wanted to be able to tie my shoe, basically. And so you're able to give them what you want, and then they return it to you and teach you how to get the things done that you need to get done.
You got to help promote some of your own goals a little bit more outpatient than inpatient.
Well, and as you move forward and time rolls on, you start to think, well, what can't I do yet? So only you can speak to what me as a person, what does Jen want to do that I'm not yet able to do? So you get to kind of have that relationship of, here's what I need, and can you help me get there?
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. It's just they will flat out ask you what you're trying, what your end goal is, and
you're part of the process.
What you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what are three things that you want to be able to do? They'll kind of list them off to you, and I think that's a quality of a good therapist, in my opinion. Because it's not just, all right, we're going to go by this book and you're going to follow exactly this and we're done. It's, what do you want to do? What kind of quality of life do you want to have still? So.
What about those more difficult days? Like, I know the therapy team referenced them, and it's common to have really difficult days, I think, both for staff in the hospital as well as for survivors. I mean, like when maybe you didn't want to do therapy. Maybe it was like too much pain. Maybe it was like you had multiple things happen to you and you're like, I'm just done. I want everyone to leave me alone. So how did you guys handle like those harder times of physical therapy? How did you like work through that and move through that? Because unfortunately, at least I don't imagine that it was just like, okay, you can take a day off. It's all good.
Yeah, those don't. Yeah, so, and for my circumstance, at least in the hospital, what we would do is, if it was one of those days where I just didn't have enough energy, which was very early on, for me, we would just do what exercises we could do in the bed, and just never leave the bed.
So they could work with your capacity a little bit. I mean, like you still had to do stuff, but they were willing to meet you in some way, some level. Especially if you were able to, I imagine you had to indicate your capacity and where you were at.
Well, yeah. And then like, I don't know if Jen had this, but I had one of them air bed deals because of the burn stuff. So like one of the things we did for the burn deals, we would deflate the bed and work on me transferring out of the bed without having the big fluffy elevated deal.
I didn't have the big fluffy elevated deal.
Okay.
No. I had the axilla burn. So I had one of these where I was like, hi, all the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But just like Dave, there was a lot of in-bed stuff like with that where I would just be kind of, I don't remember if I was pulling on a rope or what. And the hardest thing for me was because they had taken donor from my back and butt and thighs, pretty much anywhere that wasn't burned, they took skin from. But again, and having to ask the therapist, like, how do I do this? I had to learn how to get out of bed because your brain is telling you that hurts, don't do it. But the therapist is telling it, no, it's totally fine. You can do that. So you're fighting with like, the therapist is telling me I can roll out of bed and it's fine. And your brain's going, oh my God, that hurts. Don't do that.
You have an external voice and an internal voice and they're at odds.
Oh my God, yes. But you also just trust that therapist. And that goes again to the relationship that they build just the first time they walk into your room, that they know what they're doing and they'll get you through. So yeah.
That sense of trust, and I think even like that's really such a foundational aspect of safety. They build that relationship with you and you have a sense of safety with them. And you can really kind of work with that fear or that pain feeling that's like, no, not safe, not safe. No. And like work with the both of them together because you have two different kind of forces rather than like, they're not safe and I don't feel safe. Well, now I'm really not going to do it.
Anything. Yeah, they definitely have to build that. They got to build that foundation of trust me because your body's going to tell you not to.
Yes.
So how did you both learn about kind of really engaging with your therapist? Because it can be really hard surrounding kind of all the different emotions through a hospital stay, everything you're confronting, your own individual danger responses, whether it be freeze, whether it be fight, whether it be kind of shut down, whether it be whatever it might be, and just your care needs. Like, how did you learn to kind of really voice your needs, ask questions, work with your therapist? And some people, I think, learn this in the hospital, and some people learn this outside of the hospital, really depending on how medicated you are, how aware you are. But how did you all both learn that? Because both of you strike me as you're able to definitely speak and use your voice and advocate for your needs now.
For sure.
How did you get there with the therapist that you worked with?
Well, again, with mine, it is just how they set up those expectations. They literally ask you those questions when they come in. So it's like you kind of get this little roadmap beginning roadmap laid out for you before you start going into stuff.
So they started it by really, rather than them telling you, them asking you. So getting your feedback before kind of going ahead and like kind of placing all of theirs on the agenda.
Because I think every plan's custom to each patient. So they find out where you're at mentally, where you're at physically, and they create a plan based on that. And they know.
So you felt they attuned to you then? Because really that's such an attunement step in terms of rather than me going ahead, here's everything that we're going to do and I'm going to place it on the table. It's what or how would you like to engage? What would you like to get out of this? What are your goals? Which makes you feel really valued, empowered, kind of seen, which definitely can help with that sense of, again, safety and trust and being able to ask and advocate and notice.
Because the doctors and nurses tell you what you're doing. That's the difference. And the therapy is, all right, what would you like to do? What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? So it's totally different, flip-flop.
That is going to be such an interesting place to explore with other staff as we continue this season.
You were mean to us and made us do all sorts of things. No, the therapists were. They really were a bright light. But in addition to where do you want to go, they also touched on who were you the day you came in here, the day before you came in here. What did you enjoy doing? Like they definitely want to try to get you to what you were able to do before. So I do remember that was really nice that they wanted to know, like I did a lot of yoga before. So they wanted to make sure that I was able to try to get back to that as soon as possible. So yeah, there's definitely a feeling of individuality to how they come into each room of each survivor at the hospital and try to gauge where they're going to take you from there, just based on you, which is...
So you get that sense of really investment as a person and as a person outside of the injury, which I think is so hugely invaluable because you were not just your burn or just what happened to you. You were so much more beyond that.
For sure.
Love that. What about after the hospital? I know, Jen, you did a fair amount of therapy after the hospital, but post-hospital, so when you left the hospital setting, you went to rehab, you went back to home. What roles did occupational and physical therapy have for you? And how have you found any of the type of exercises, supports that you learned through there to really maintain your mobility, your strength, your functionality? Because I imagine it didn't get to a point and just like, I'm all good, I'm all better. Like, 100%. Please tell me if it did.
Oh, gosh. No. Go ahead, Dave.
You get a balance point where you can kind of ease off a little bit. But yeah, there's stuff that you pick up and you keep with you from the therapy stuff that maybe you weren't even doing before any of this.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely more big about stretching and all that kind of stuff and mobility mainly. Otherwise, I stiffen up and my body don't want to move.
Yeah, so. I feel that. I think I had and have still a little rougher time with getting back to where I was before. And interestingly, part of that was that shortly, a couple years after my burn, COVID came. And so going to the gym was different or harder. And do I want to expose myself to maybe getting sick if I go to the gym? And so I feel like the timing of all of that just took me off of the habit of doing things for yourself, the habit of exercise and yoga and all the things that I did pre-burn have just fallen a little to the wayside. But I don't know, I actually still think I would do well by going back to some of the physical therapy.
Okay.
Because I do have some imbalances that I would like to address. And I feel like I need those caretakers, the PT people and all, sort of like a community around me going, You can do it, Jen.
It's
Yeah,
not
they
like
definitely do a
cheerleader
push.
outfit.
It is. It's a cheerleader.
Yeah, they
They're
definitely
like
do a push
cheerleaders.
that triggers you to do things that you wouldn't normally do.
Yes. Yes.
They know
Mhm.
and they're encouraging in
Mhm.
what they know. And they're like accountability little piece.
Oh,
so
for
that'll
sure.
be even a
100%.
huge thing
Yes.
to explore in terms of what does that look like years beyond your injury. Should you feel the need to engage further in any type of therapy work, how easy or difficult would that be to kind of engage in? That I don't know. But in honor of kind of therapy work that you both have done, just all of therapy work that you've done that we've heard about through our therapy team this podcast season, and just all of the amazing physical therapists and occupational therapists out there, we're going to have a little thank the therapist share now. And I'm really excited about this aspect. So really, I'm going to have Dave and Jen share as much or as little thank yous that you might have to the therapy staff for their help and supports in your journey.
Okay. I'll let you go first, Jen.
Well, that just makes me think back to all of the cool, awesome folks at the hospital. Everyone in the hospital setting, for sure. What you guys do is amazing. And as you've heard from us speaking about you today, you really do brighten up the room for a burn survivor when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
One specific, I wish I could remember the lady who did this, but in the outpatient clinic, when you're out of the hospital setting, but you're still going to the burn unit to do like an outpatient checkup. And this wonderful physical therapist made a scar massager for me out of,
awesome.
It's like that plexi clay. I don't know what it was, but it was amazing. My dog subsequently ate it. But
Oh my gosh.
I know just recently too, years later, I'm like, oh, my little scar tool is dead. But it's those little things that, they just really think of you on a personal basis and do little things for you that just really brighten your experience. So.
Yeah, I'm the same in both places, though. I mean, I had outstanding occupational and physical therapists in the hospital, and then I was transferred over to Encompass Health, is where I did the rest of my rehab stuff and everything. But yeah, everybody was completely excellent. Game plan worked out great. The extra therapy that they would let me do, long as somebody was in the gym, was pretty awesome. So we would get 2 a day, and they would let me go in there. As long as you're supervised, you can do a third one if you want.
Aww.
So they let me do that, which got me out a little bit quicker too, and got me back home. So they'll let you push yourself as hard as you'll go. So yeah, huge thank you to everybody. I would definitely not be as functional as I am now without it.
Yes.
I would say that's probably the sentiments of a variety of others who walked through the healing process as well. So I've been talking to several other people because, again, thinking and sharing about gratitude for physical and occupational therapy staff, I took a little time to reach out to people who've been through burn experiences. So I have even more insights and thank yous to share.
Oh, that's awesome.
For burn survivors, from burn survivors to therapy staff. And just, I would encourage anyone listening, share these with your therapist, or encourage any therapist that you're working with to have a listen, because this is really valuable for them to hear the insights and the supports and really the encouragement and everything that they do offer to burn survivors. So please share this forward. So I have one individual, thank you for helping get me and my child up and walking so we could see each other when we were healing.
That's awesome.
Thank you for taking the risks and doing procedures that allowed me to walk when no one thought I could.
Oh.
Thank you for putting up with my attitude. I mean,
hey, self-awareness.
There's definitely them,
That's good. Yeah.
It's definitely them too.
Thank you for encouraging me even when I didn't believe in myself.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for visiting me when I came back for my outpatient visits. I know that's something that many of our therapy staff
we
will
love
do,
to see those faces again.
thank you for helping me get stronger and be independent again. And the last thank you, just thank you for being a part of events and watching me grow. So I know some of our therapy staff, at least those that are therapy staff at the Arizona Burn Center here, have been a part of camps, retreats, our annual walk of courage. And what an amazing aspect for, to survivor to see therapist, therapist to see survivor, and to be on that same plane in healing and just that full circle back together. Like, I just wanted to take some time to share those and again, share it forward.
Yes, please. So many good things shared today, as always. Yay. So we just have such a resource in the burn community between survivors and family and staff. We can really build a stronger support to survive and live and thrive better.
Love that.
Seems to be getting stronger too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And bigger.
It's our goal is to build it bigger.
Yeah. We need
build a stronger community. So our takeaway today is actually going to build a little bit on that sense of gratitude and thanks that we just ended with and the physical supports offered by the therapy team in the hospital. So it's a little bit of a gratitude hug. Now, this may match a little bit of something that we've done before, but being mindful, again, we might choose some tools that are the same or close to, because maybe, just maybe, they might be really valuable tools to use more than one time. So gratitude hug-wise, I encourage you to get into a place or space that feels comfortable for you, whatever your situation allows for today. Maybe you're sitting in a hospital bed. Maybe you're sitting in your own bed or on a chair or laying on the ground, wherever you might be. And then creating that quiet, comfortable space on the inside as much as you possibly can too. So maybe you might close your eyes or avert your eyes or look downwards. Maybe you might take a few breaths in and out deeply, just to focus on your body, to go inward a moment and check in with how and where you feel there. And just notice anything you notice. And see if you can move towards that sense of quiet internally as much as you're able. And then I invite you to cross your arms over your chest gently. Now, maybe you have one arm on your shoulder, maybe you have one arm on your armpit or on your other shoulder. Kind of like you're holding yourself in a little bit of a hug. And I invite you to just hold yourself tenderly here for a moment. Notice any sense of pressure. Notice if it feels better to have a firm or a softer hug today. Notice any sense of warmth building in your body. Perhaps there's some movement from tense areas to maybe a little bit lesser tense areas. And taking a few moments here in this hug, feeling into a few more breaths, perhaps noticing your heartbeat slowing as your breath slows. As that warmth builds, and as you start to recognize any sense of warmth and safety building on the inside, I invite you to get curious. Get curious about something in your therapy journey recently. Maybe it's something you accomplished. Maybe it's something that you have a goal ahead. Maybe it's something you noticed you could do that you couldn't do before. And allow yourself to focus on and notice any emotions, any sensations around this therapy place that you've been able to reach. Maybe there's a sense of appreciation, pride, or joy, or excitement. Notice how those emotions might feel in your body. And I invite you to express mentally, somatically, so in your body, any sense of gratitude to yourself, to your therapy team, for allowing you to witness and be in this space right now. And holding that gratitude, those persons, that moment, those emotions, in that hug with you. Take a few more moments just to savor what that feels like, so you can carry it with you for a place in the future. And after about maybe 15-20 seconds of some good savoring of what you gathered, you can unwrap your arms and just reflect on or notice what that felt like for you to intentionally bring awareness, bring gratitude to yourself and others in your journey.
That's nice. Well, because to be grateful to ourselves and to the team, because we really do need to include ourselves in rising up to the challenge. We did good, Dave. No, I am so grateful for all of the team and all of the burn community for helping us move forward and live our best lives. So you guys, here comes the end of another episode. So Changed by Fire is a 501c3 nonprofit committed to helping burn survivors and their families cope and thrive in life after a burn, emotionally, psychologically, and socially, utilizing alternative healing methods such as EFT, equine therapy, burn scar massage, yoga, aromatherapy, meditation, breath work, and many more things. And we are excited to provide regular community events in Arizona to enhance relationships and community, as well as we are actively building out our website to showcase even more virtual supports and offerings as well. So even if you don't live locally in Arizona, you can access and partake of alternative healing help and support needs. I myself have done hypnotherapy via Zoom. So you guys can check us out and see if there's any way we can help you wherever you are. And if you're interested in being on the podcast and sharing your tools for healing, your story, or if you're a practitioner and would like to further help us expand our reach, please reach out to us. We're at www.changedbyfire.org.
So until next time, again, our HEAL acronym, HEAL. H, have a look at all the therapy helpers that you've had in your healing just far. E, express your gratitude toward what they've allowed in your healing. A, allow yourself to carry forward any techniques, any encouragements that have been shared. And L, let yourself continue to grow and heal well as you can. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.